Section 20 of the Open Meeting Law. This meeting of the City of Westfield Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation. Specific information can be found on the City of Westfield website at www.cityofwestfield.org. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to listen to the meeting may do so by turning into channel 15 or channel 12 or online at westfieldtv.org or online at youtube.com/Westfield Community Programming Channel. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we're unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the city's website an audio recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. Okay, roll call. Carl.
I'm here.
Jim.
I'm here.
Tom.
I'm here.
Bob.
Here.
Cliff.
Here.
Okay, and Alex is absent this evening. Would anyone like to address the commission on any item not on the agenda?
I think if,
Mr. Willett?
thank you. If Joshua might want to address the commission, I see him, but I don't know if he's able to unmute. Sorry, can you say that again, Peter? I couldn't hear you. Okay, thank you.
He left. Okay.
Just move on.
All right. All right, seeing none, item 3, executive session. I'm going to recuse myself and Jim will handle the executive session.
Hey, David, before you leave, we're going to go into executive session. I understand why we're doing it right off the bat on the agenda. But what I wonder is, while we're in executive session, what will our Zoom audience be doing? Will they be looking at a blank screen, or is there a way perhaps Peter could put a message or post some kind of? Yeah. So Peter, how will they know when we come out of executive session? They'll have to sit there and watch this blank, not blank screen, but pretty blank screen. So they'll have to physically sit in front of their computer. Is that, am I understanding that? I see. Anybody else have comments on this before I let it go?
No, I think that's the acceptable way of doing it.
No.
All right, thank you.
All right, so go ahead, Peter, and put me in the waiting room too. Thank you.
Can you let us know when we're clear, Peter? Have that motion, please.
Yep, I'll give you that motion, Jim.
All right, thank you.
If you need
Tom?
a second, I'll give you a second.
Oh, yes, please. May I have a second?
Sure, I'll give you a second.
All right, thank you, Carl. And Tom?
You might want to ask if there's discussion. I guess there isn't. But
I-
if we're ready to vote,
Yeah, I guess I'm a little unclear of the protocol in this, but sure. And does anybody have anything to say?
No.
Okay, if there's no questions or comments, we will move forward then.
yep. In that
Okay,
case, I will vote. I will vote yes to enter executive session.
All right, thank you. Carl,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Cliff,
Yes.
and myself, Jim, yes.
And
Okay, David, I'm ready to turn this back over to you as the chair.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, Dave,
Okay,
I'm
thank you.
turning this back over to you as the chair.
All right, thank you. Item 4, public hearings. All right. Somehow Jim's the only one in the screen here. Okay. All right. Okay, Russell Road, Toccoa Country Club. Okay, we did a site visit a couple days ago. And is Ryan here?
Yes, hello everyone. Ryan Nelson from R. Levesque Associates, here on behalf of the applicant, Mr. Dan Burak of the Toccoa Country Club. I was away last Friday, but I believe my coworker Philippe met you guys on site for the site visit. I gave kind of a brief recap last time, but happy to answer any remaining questions that you guys have.
Okay, questions from the commission?
Ryan, can you post the, thank you.
Tom, if you don't, Tom, if you don't still have the floor, I do have a question, or do you have?
Yeah, by all means, go ahead.
Okay, so Ryan, the only thing I on this project I still don't understand is the new design of the I'm trying to actually, I'm going to the print right now. Hold on. Okay. As I look at the print, where I believe it's probably, it looks like BNK-17.
Yep, right
Okay.
here.
So from that point down to BNK-16, that triangle there,
Yep,
all right, you still have an area that will be impacted by the flow of the water over the existing boulders that are still in there. And I'm just curious to know what the life is going to be, or you project of the new design, as opposed to taking some of that wall out and making it more of a deflection, like knocking out that triangle. Now, I know this plan is well developed, but I just want to understand it intellectually. I mean, how do you still plan on managing the velocity of the water? The turbidity those boulders create didn't seem limited at all when we were there the other day. So
sure.
I'm just looking for an engineering explanation, because you still have this jog going out into the river.
Right. So, you know, our approach isn't to change, I guess, the course of the river. We're just trying to remediate a problem that's occurring the best we can. I'm not, a river dynamics expert by any means, so I don't know if, getting rid of the peninsula point at around bank 17 is going to help any. Over time, Mother Nature may take that out on its own. I'm not sure, but our goal is to stabilize and stop a problem that's occurring at a non-sustainable rate. So I think anything we're proposing is going to be light years better of a situation than what's occurring now.
Okay, all right.
Ryan, what Jim is asking is what's going to prevent the river from doing this again in 5 years?
Well, I mean, rivers do this constantly. They're dynamic all over. I can't speak to whether it's going to happen elsewhere, but let me pull up a different image. So, let's see here. So this is kind of what the finished product would be. So this is a the Filtrex Grow Socks media. So it's a photodegradable netting that's filled with grow media soil and injected with seeds, and the seeds germinate and create like this living wall. And it's recommended for slopes up to 1-to-1. However, that's not the case for us. And this is going to have complete surface contact on that exposed slope. So it would provide better protection than riprap, which still has, crevices and which not that the water can get behind and scour. But in this case, I think it provides a pretty good barrier against all that exposed earth. And then over time, the vegetation grows, sprouts, in addition with the plantings that we're going to be installing between those socks, the stakings. This would all kind of blend and mesh into one in the long term.
And you're what, 2-to-1 pitch, I think?
Double check. Yeah, one, like 2.5-to-1.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Ryan.
Sure.
Ryan, right there in the bottom right of the screen is the resource area summary. And it says that there's going to be no disturbance to the bank. Am I reading that correctly?
That's correct. Yes. So
you're not going to be putting a shovel in the dirt at all in the bank?
No, we're working at the median high water line, which in this case is synonymous with top of bank, where those blue flags were. Hopefully they were still present, but yes, we'd be working from top of bank backwards, away from the river.
And so really the only time you're going to be kind of scooping over that bank is to remove the asphalt that has fallen down there?
Yes.
Will you?
Correct.
And how will you do that? You'll just get some big
an
machine that'll pull it up
excavator
and-
with a thumb can just clamp onto a piece of it and lift it out of there.
But other than that, no disturbance to that area.
Correct. We're not altering the structure of the bank.
Okay, thanks, Ryan.
Yep.
Ryan, a question. In your picture, you've had that thing grassed over quite effectively. What those Filtrex socks are made of? I mean, is the
Sure.
entire sock biodegradable?
Yes, hold on. Let me bring this up. So the company's called Filtrex. I actually met with one of their sales reps and kind of their project managers on site maybe 2 years ago or a year ago at the specific site. And he had experience doing this, these projects all over New England. And he recommended this application for this site. So the way it works is it's a biodegradable, photodegradable. So the sunlight over time breaks down the netting. Let me see if I can find an image here. But anyway, it's stuffed with a mixture of soil and compost, wood chips at the right pH. And also you can pick seed mixes that get stuffed into these socks. So that way, once they're installed, they're ready to grow and start right away.
Will the socks be up against each other, or are there spaces in between?
No, so this would be chinked or staked very tightly against each other. But obviously, we'd be putting the stakings in for the saplings and trees. So, they'd be contoured around to fit around those, but there would be, I guess it's flexible, so it can easily contour around those plantings. But the idea would be that they would be tight fitting against each other.
And the company that you're working with, I mean, what's their evidence that these things can withstand, the velocity of a river? Before, these get all grassed in. I mean, how durable are these if the water rises due to a storm?
Right. So I mean, I haven't gotten too much information about that, but from the specs I've been reading, it's recommended, for river situations. It gives a stat that it's can be used in hydraulic shear up to 12 pounds per square foot. I couldn't tell you what exactly that means. But I know for this application, this is what this was designed for.
All right, thank you. Also, we noticed that in this area, I mean, there seems to be mowing right up against the edge. Whereas farther upstream and downstream, you've got, large trees, right along the edge of the river. Is there any way of keeping this area, from being mowed all the time? I know it's going to be very close to the edge of the green, and you've got the cart path there as well. But what in your plan is hoping to try to get some more vegetation growing in there?
Right. So this restoration area in the future will not be mowed. So from this proposed guardrail line right here towards the river, that will be, left to naturally revegetate. As for the whole other length of the river, I don't know what jurisdiction we have over that, but I would, think based on an ownership initiative to not have to do this again, maybe, providing a buffer in other areas would be advantageous too.
Well, having played that hole many times, I noticed, up and downstream of that spot,
Right.
there is a lot of, good sized trees right along the river. But it seems like in that particular spot, there aren't any, or there maybe were some, but they're gone now because of the erosion. Meredith, do you have any concerns?
No, or Ryan, I appreciate you explaining a little bit more about the product you're proposing. I haven't seen that before. And I know, I've dealt with a lot of restoration sites, and the best thing is to get seed and plant material onto exposed soil with erosion control blanket, because, that's what's going to stabilize exposed soil. So I haven't really seen those used before. So based on those specs, it makes sense. I think that is a good product. Will you be able, or will the contractor be able to use native seed mix in those? And how are they gonna know how much to use if there's no square footages on the plans?
Right. So yeah, the limit of work, it is the same as the riverfront area alteration. So it'd be about 2,600 square feet. But yeah, I'd have to talk with Filtrex to see what the options are for seed types. I know they mentioned rye and a couple other standard things on their website, but maybe there's other options too upon request. I'm not sure.
Ryan, what are the plants you're going to plant there along along your slope?
Sure. My computer just stalled. Here we go. I believe it's speckled alder, red maple, and willow stakings.
I believe it's listed at the top of this drawing, Ryan.
It is, yeah. Okay, here we go. My computer's cooperating now. Yep, speckled alder, red maple, and willow.
Okay. All right,
And you're the tree and shrub guy. Are those all, will those grow? Do we see a lot of those around this area? I mean,
Yeah.
red maple, yeah.
Those are species I noticed upstream and downstream of that area.
Were they also chosen because they have a strong root system? Or
that, and I think the alders kind of form, I don't know, just my experience, kind of a more of a clumping lower understory. And there was a lot of that out there. I guess I was just trying to lean more towards what I saw out there that was successful.
okay, thanks.
Ryan, one question. They want to install these as soon as possible. I mean, there's not going to be any growth, until the springtime. How long will it take for those seeds to germinate and become what that picture you showed us?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously we're past the growing season now. But under ideal conditions, probably, 2 weeks is a safe bet for things to germinate and start growing for the seed mix.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any other questions from the commission? Any questions or concerns from anyone in the audience? Seeing none, entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
We have a second.
Yes, I'll make a second.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Jim,
Yeah.
Tom,
Yes,
Bob,
Bob,
okay, Bob. Okay. Hey, Cliff.
Yes.
All right, and I'll vote yes as well. Peter, is there any way for me to see everybody at the same time? All I see is one big WCPC 15. Okay, gallery. Okay, thank you. Okay. Is
and
Bob with us?
Carl.
Oh, Carl, sorry.
I'll vote yes also.
Okay. All right, Meredith, want to put up the conditions?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
These are all our standard ones, right?
Yes.
Meredith, what conditions did the state recommend? Did they get into that or not?
There
Did
are
they have,
several.
I mean, I know
There's
natural
several
heritage.
Several of the
we-
natural heritage stated that we should probably add to the conditions.
Yeah, we need to include the special conditions from natural heritage,
Right.
which was provided in their letter.
Yes.
And let me just see. ZEP comments. They didn't have any conditions. They wanted the project redesigned basically, because originally it was gabion baskets, hardscaping the bank out
Right.
into the river. And so this is more of a soft scape, if you will. So to answer your question, we will just have to just motion to include the natural heritage letter conditions as written into the
Okay.
order.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right.
thank you.
Thanks for remembering that, Tom.
All right, so, whoops.
Oops, sorry. Back up.
All right, back up. Yeah,
Okay,
there's no SWIP involved here.
right.
Okay, so 51D recording, yes.
Okay,
DEP sign, yes. Deed restriction language.
I mean,
uh,
not for sure about this one because isn't it, I mean, we know there's resources on the property. I don't
Right.
think this property is changing hands. I mean, it's a golf course. Isn't it going to stay a golf course? I don't know. Up to you guys. I'm just never sure about that one.
Well, to answer that question,
Right.
golf courses all the time are being turned into housing complexes. But are what
Like
we doing?
Southwick.
I'm thinking of Southwick. Are what we doing
Oh,
now?
really?
Will they impact future homeowners if this golf course does convert? Or
I mean,
will
they
we have
still
a second bite at the apple?
Yeah, I mean, they're still gonna have to comply with the Wetlands Protection Act and the local bylaw. The
Right.
resources stand as they are. I mean, you can,
No, I don't know that
I
it
guess
needs to
that
be
note, that could notify, the deed restriction notifies the future owner, I guess, that there's resources.
All right, so what, go ahead and include it.
Okay.
All right, there's no wildlife involved. Well,
Well, there is
Not
an
by
application.
this. Certainly not by this, unless it's the clams.
we need some, but this is talking about recording something at the registry.
Yeah, no.
All right, 55 letter of understanding, yes. Contractor letter, 56, yes. Excavator copy of order conditions, yes. Construction sequence, yes. 59 erosion controls, yes. 60 pre-construction meeting, yes. 61, yes. Contact information, 40-hour notice, 62, yes. There's no Title V, no water quality cert. There's no permanent narkers, no signage involved. There's no comp storage, and there's no temporary basins. There's no trees coming out. There's no permanent basins.
Right.
There's no, salt's not involved with this one.
Right.
Fertilizer,
I mean, I'd love to have the golf course not use fertilizer, but I think that's probably,
that's tough.
that
Yeah,
be probably a little bit difficult to enforce.
right. 73 low flow, yes.
Okay,
That was one of the stipulations of natural heritage, I think.
yeah, I think so.
Okay, erosion controls, straw bales, yes. So 74, yes, 75, yes. 76, yes.
Yeah, they were actually proposing a turbidity curtain,
Okay.
so I can put that in there.
78, yes, avoid heavy rain.
Yep.
79, no, there's no silt sacks.
Mhm.
There's no catch basins, no grease traps. There's no stormwater requirements.
Great. Okay.
There's no monitor involved, I don't think.
Well, I was going to suggest that, you know, I would want the consultant to be involved since this is kind of a nuanced, I mean, not any old contractor.
Mhm.
At least maybe during the kickoff, like how, like, to explain how these things are supposed to be installed. I mean, I guess the contractor could figure it out, but it's,
Do you want somebody from Levesque to be there then?
at least
Yeah.
one, I mean, that's what I was thinking.
Or Filtrex?
Either, or like, I don't know if we can say who specifically, but
Right.
we can at least say somebody with experience installing this particular type of bank stabilization technique should be there during
Okay.
construction. Yeah.
And-
So I can write it.
That
like
sounds
that.
like the Filtrex person.
Yeah.
And as Ryan referenced, he has experience with these all over New England. So
Right.
that sounds like the person.
And let's have them notify the commission office who's going to be the person.
But yeah, Meredith, your language sounded good.
Okay.
All right, so 88, contact information, yes.
Yes.
87, yes, okay.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. It's not like they need to be there all the time. It was just somebody just to kind of get the contractor, just to make sure they're installed properly.
Okay.
Okay.
There's no dewatering.
Right,
There's no dredging. No replication.
right. Although, do you guys want some post-construction monitoring? You know, somebody to take a look at the site, keep an eye on it to make sure it's functioning. I mean, maybe the golf course will just inherently do that, but the plants, you know, they're proposing quite a few native plants. I guess they just have, if you see that it's not vegetated, they'll
Want
have
to
to,
add that as a special condition because it's really not a replication.
okay. I can do that.
Okay, 104 growing seasons, yes.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, on that
Oh.
one.
Again, that talks about replications, not,
Yeah, I mean, I'll change the title of
Okay,
this
all
and
right.
just say,
okay, thank you. All right,
restoration area.
okay. That's fine.
Okay. So growing
Uh,
seasons,
Post-construction assessment, yes.
assessment, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, 106, permanent stabilization, yes.
yep,
107, yes. 108, yes.
okay.
Future buyer, yes. 109. 110, there's no structures to maintain. Conditions in perpetuity, yes.
Okay,
And then a
Bond.
bond.
Well, this is certainly a complex project. I think the functionality of this will be well known after one growing season.
Yeah.
That said, I understand also why we've put in here that there will be somebody inspecting this for a few years. I don't know. I'm going to suggest $2,500, but I'll defer to the board for their feedback.
I guess my only concern is as they're, trying to pull out the asphalt and stuff that, right down at the edge of the water.
Mhm.
So I guess 2,500 seems okay. How about the commission?
Mr. Chair, would you feel a little more comfortable with 3, say?
Okay,
I
right.
sort of asked that. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that. I mean, why don't we suggest 3?
okay. Okay, let's do that. All right. Then add our special conditions. I'm gonna keep scrolling. All right, so,
oh, that's it.
okay, so we've got the letter from Natural Heritage as a set of special conditions. And what was the other one, Meredith, that you wanted to?
Just the plants should be monitored so and replanted if they don't survive, something to that extent.
Okay,
And then we have a condition already about making sure that things are revegetated when it's done, so
Mhm.
I think that's the point.
Mhm.
I think we're good.
yeah, I think adding the
Regarding,
Natural Heritage ones adds a lot of support to the project and keeping machinery away from the edge when it's not being used and so on.
Right, yeah, they
And-
talk about no work being allowed under or below the bank, mean annual high water, no storing machinery close to the river, native plantings and seeds. So, yeah, I think the letter, and they require a compliance report as well within
Okay.
30 days of completion of work and during the first full growing season. So our conditions are, similar.
Okay, great.
Mr.
do we
Chairman,
have-
I'd like to link, though, the release of the bond
Hmm.
to a growing season. or to what natural heritage is going with. If that's not going to survive the spring rise of the water there and ice flows, then it's got to be repaired and taken care of. So
Doesn't the bond usually link up to certain number of growing seasons anyway?
we normally say 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever. So in this case, I was going to propose 1 growing season. If you feel, or you want more, or,
I mean,
I think we
I'd be
need
happy.
2 growing.
yeah, I think a couple,
okay,
and to get those shrubs stabilized in that wall,
okay.
I think,
Then 2
David, do
growing
we-
seasons?
yeah.
Two growing seasons sounds right to me. Do we have the right to go visit during this 2-year period, or do we need to make that a condition as commissioners, or our representative?
Well, it's an NOI, so we do have that, right? Because it's an NOI.
For 2 years? I really don't know. I don't know the
Yeah.
answer.
First, when you have an open order of conditions, you can visit the site anytime. And the order is good for 3 years.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, so anything else on the order of conditions? All right, then I'd entertain a motion to approve the order of conditions.
So moved.
Have a second.
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Tom,
I'll vote yes.
Carl,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Bob. Bob, can't hear you. Hey, Bob, can you unmute, please? Thank you. Okay, how do you vote?
Still
Okay,
can't
So
hear.
muted.
still muted, Bob. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Yeah, you could do a thumbs up.
Okay, all right. Okay, Cliff,
Yes.
I'll vote yes as well. Thank you.
You could have done a thumbs up,
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time.
Okay, item B, 898 Southampton Road. Applicant requests continuance to November 23rd, 2021. A motion to that effect.
So moved.
Have a second.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor, Tom,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes.
Jim,
Yeah.
Cliff,
Yes.
Bob.
I think his smile indicates he's
Okay,
thumbs up.
okay. Well, we got a quorum anyway. I'll vote yes. Thank you. All right, item 5, public meetings. We have none. Item 6, enforcement, Castle Hill Road. Meredith.
Yeah, so I got a call from DEP about this one. I was able to look at the site. I haven't visited the site with the property owner. I sent a letter, got a response yesterday, I think. They did, after some back and forth, agree to a site visit, which they were able to meet me on Friday, but there was a large amount of soil dumped down a steep slope. Where the slope abuts Jack's Brook. This is up off of Hillside, a side street off of Hillside. So I couldn't really see how much damage was done, but quite a bit of soil was dumped down the slope. So
Okay,
not good. So I don't know if anyone can come with me. I don't know if I should see it before we issue an enforcement so I can condition it properly.
well, let's do
You know what
that.
yeah, I'd like to issue it, and I think I can issue it after I see the site, and then you guys can ratify it
Okay,
at the next meeting, just so it doesn't, we're getting into winter, so I'm worried. I want things to get stabilized and remediated as soon as possible.
right.
Um,
All right, so let's do that. Have a site visit this week.
okay,
and then you can send a letter. Okay, item B, Service Star, Industrial Way, Specialty Restoration and Finishing.
Yep, okay, so this is another violation where there was some clearing within the buffer zone. And it was hard to tell whether the buffer zone, they've been it's an industrial site, it's within the power lines, and that's actually how I noticed it. I was doing a site visit to close out the power line project a month or so ago, and then so it's hard. I think they've been using it, but it seemed like new disturbance. So anyways, I was able to meet with the property owner, and actually Mark Reed from Heritage Surveys was out there with us, and they acknowledged that they cleared within the buffer, and they wanted to remediate the problem. The wetland was actually delineated, I think, for another project. So it was clear that there was a wetland and they were in the buffer zone. So they have agreed to mark the 50-foot buffer with boulders and signs, and leave the area alone and get it revegetated. So, that was kind of a verbal agreement. I wanted to bring it before you guys and see if that was amendable. I can show you some photos if you want. Quickly.
Be helpful, Meredith, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Where did we go?
I guess while she's doing that, question of a letter to the owner or an enforcement order. We need some documentation that we, dealt with this owner.
Yeah, so the wetland, see this, can you see this wetland flag?
Mhm.
It's pink little one. So the wetland, I mean, they cleared up to the wetland edge, and it is in the power lines. But anyway, so then we pulled a tape and they marked, this is about 50 feet from the edge there. And they happened to have some boulders right here, so they were going to move these and put them on the 50-foot buffer zone line.
And how are they going to revegetate that?
I think they were gonna, or we need to tell them they have to put seeding down. They kind of thought that the seed would be in the soil bank.
Mhm.
The seed bank would be in the soil,
Okay.
but depending on how it looks in the spring, they might need to do some seed, so I could add that to the letter.
How about a few bushes?
Okay,
It looks pretty barren right now.
yeah, it's really bare.
Meredith, who joined you from Heritage?
Mark Reed,
Was it Mark?
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. He
David,
wasn't
you
able-
asked the question. You asked the question whether a letter or an enforcement order. I think in this case, the guy called his consulting engineer. Seems like he. In fact, I'm ready to congratulate Meredith for taking us out of the loop on this one. She kind of did this one by herself. It would seem to me certainly a letter will suffice at this point. But you're right, David. It does need to be documented.
That's fine with me. How about the rest of the commission?
I'm
I'm
okay
very
with
much
that.
in agreement with Tom that I think with the cooperation of the landowner, that I think that just a letter is sufficient. And we can always take it further if we need to, but it sounds as if this is going to resolve it.
All right, so let's have entertain a motion to send a letter documenting what the agreement is as far as what the applicant or the violation is supposed to be. So we have some record of what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we authorize Meredith to send a letter.
Okay. So second.
Second that.
All right, any further discussion? Seeing none. All in favor, Tom,
I'll vote yes.
Carl,
Yes.
Jim,
Yep,
okay, Cliff,
Yes.
and, okay, Bob seems to be gone. Yeah, I'll vote yes as well. Okay. Thank you. All right, item C, 300 Union Street. Another
Okay.
soil disturbance in the 50-foot zone. Meredith?
Yeah, here, let me pull up the photos, just go over this one. got a call. I don't know if it was from a neighbor or somebody saying clearing's going on. Again, this is an industrial site, or I think industrial, or sorry, commercial site. There is an existing building. Oops, let me get to the build. I guess I didn't take any pictures of the building. Whatever. There's a building, a parking behind, and a driveway around the building. And the landowner decided they needed more parking. So, you know, this is the wetland here. And this is kind of new fill here. Can you see it's wet there? It's a very obvious wetland. And obvious new fill brought in. So I was a little unclear if the wetland got filled or if they just cleared and added material. I mean, it looks like some fill potentially. This is old. This is some cement, and I was thinking part of their remediation could be to remove that.
Okay. Again, do you
So
think-
yeah, I was thinking, and it's obviously they cut down trees and piled them up in the buffer zone here. This is the wetland. It's sort of looks like a vernal pool, but I can't say that because it's not the right time of year.
Yeah.
But
So, I mean, this seems to have more extensive, I guess, damage than the other one.
yeah, it's pretty, you know, it's not the worst I've seen, but they're definitely encroaching and filling and
All right. So perhaps,
And it's current, right? I mean, it's not
new,
previous. It's current.
yeah, it's new.
all right.
It's a new work. See how they cleared and mulched. I mean, I think this is just buffer zone here, but still. Then I pulled the tape. This is 100 feet. So
Okay.
this clearing is all within 100 feet. So I think they need a delineation. They need a consultant to kind of figure out
Mhm.
what
Okay.
happened.
So an enforcement order would be better because we want the delineation and a restoration plan.
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
All right. Do I have a motion?
Meredith, were you able to tell them to do no more, to stop?
Yes.
Cease, so they know
Yeah.
that?
Yes. Yeah, I did. Yeah. Whenever I get a violation, I send a letter out saying, hey, there's a potential violation. We'd like to do a site visit and please cease work until we can meet.
Okay, great.
So yeah, they know.
Yep.
They know to stop.
I think November 30th is a reasonable date for
Okay.
them to comply.
I've got I guess a question. Robert Notario just asked if he could speak to the violation. I mean, it's not in public session right now, but what's the opinion of the commission?
I, for one, value Rob's opinion.
I'd be willing to hear him out, yeah.
Okay.
Before we do that, do we want to go with the November 30th? Or I guess you guys can discuss and then see what you want to do for dates and,
Okay, let's do that later.
okay.
Okay, Robert, you wanted to talk to this particular item?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
I believe
ahead.
there's a previous order of conditions on that property, and portions of the property are in the flood zone on Union Street.
Yes. Oh, there is a previous order?
I believe there is.
Okay,
An
That's all.
open order, Rob, or a one that has been closed?
It should be closed by now, but it should be recorded on the deed as well, so
Yeah.
property owner
But if
should
I'm
be.
getting it, your point is this guy knew it was areas that should be protected. If we've already scolded him once.
That is a possibility.
Okay.
all right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so Meredith, you want to talk about the date?
Yeah, and I will look, I thought we looked at this one to see, because I usually see if we have a file. This is I think it's a newer a new owner. The property, I think the building was built in like, I want to say the 90s or something. So I don't think we have a current order of conditions. And I don't know, this gentleman said he didn't know, of course, that there was one. So we'll look and see if there, what we have on file, and if there was an old delineation, that will help us.
Meredith, if I could add, I believe that was a plastic injection molding company before, or that's who the business was that was in it, and it might have been called Creative Plastics. Best I can offer you.
Okay. Yeah, we'll look up to see what we have.
Is that on the side of Union Street away from the river?
Yeah, it's on the side.
Sure.
Yeah,
It's
Mer-
right
Across from
next to
Golf
Westfield
Acres.
Feed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Meredith?
Westfield.
Yes, Cliff.
Hey, I just wanted to say, I believe that was sold probably like 3 years ago. Prior to that was Hanush owned that property.
Okay.
And so if it's anything older than that, I'm pretty sure it would have been, you know, the previous owners before that. That's where Hanush had that. They did the shovels. Those you know, that's what they were doing there. So that railing company is fairly new. I'm gonna go 3 years maybe. Just so you have an idea. So it's
Okay.
not going way back 5-10 years. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, and I'm quickly looking. It is in the flood zone.
Yeah.
Well, from what the map shows.
Right, so
So
is November 30th too quick? I mean, it's
I know
2.5 weeks or so.
it might be too. I don't know. Or at
What
least
about-
they need to hire somebody by then. They may not, or at least they need to reach out to somebody and get somebody on board, even if they can't do the delineation or get everything done by then.
So by November 30th, they give us a letter saying they've hired a contractor or hired a consultant. Is that what you're going with?
I mean,
Karen?
maybe they could do that by the 23rd and then,
Have a plan by the first meeting in December.
yeah, a plan by the 14th
How's that?
or explanation why they can't.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. So a consultant by the 23rd and a plan by the 14th. All right, so we need a motion to issue the enforcement order.
I'll make
So-
that motion, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, Tom,
I'll vote yes.
Carl,
Yes.
Jim,
Yep.
Cliff,
Yes.
Robert. Please
Yes,
unmute
Bob,
yourself,
Bob.
Robert.
I no longer see Bob. Do you guys?
He's
I didn't see
there.
his
He's
name.
there.
He just texted me. He's having problems getting in.
Okay, I'll
So-
vote yes, so we're okay. All right, thank you, Meredith.
Okay.
All right, D, 88 Fairtown Road. We need a motion to close the enforcement.
If you
So
guys,
moved.
You have a second.
Yeah, I'll second.
Discussion, Meredith?
oh, on the Furrow Town?
Yes.
Um,
I mean, do
Yeah,
we
I
need to
visited
look at the
this-
Pictures, are they okay?
I can show you, they did a really nice job and I feel bad we really hammered them. But they got all native species in there. They planted blueberry, winterberry, willow, and she even mulched the area. I can show you a couple pictures real quick because it was. So I think it would be nice if we closed it out. I mean, this is their backyard, so where did it go? Hold on.
Maybe we should give Estelle the enforcement order of the year award. What do
I
you think?
Yeah, I wonder if we could, in the letter, we could include something just of, we very much appreciate how well you did this and how how willing you were to cooperate.
Yes,
That's
I
a
will
nice,
include that.
nice idea, Carl.
See how she mulched? This is a little baby
Mm-hmm.
winterberry and it's all mulched. It's hard to see, but blueberry. Oops.
All right,
She didn't get them all in yet, but
very nice.
yeah,
Bears are gonna like that.
I know she's gonna get more bear in her yard. I don't think that's what they wanted by clearing all that, but oh well.
All right,
So I will thank her for working with us.
all right, so we have a motion and a second to close the enforcement. All in favor? Tom,
I'll vote yes.
Carl,
Yes,
Jim,
Yep.
Cliff,
Yes,
okay, Robert? Any luck? All right, I'll vote yes. Thank you. Item 7, discussion. Jacksbrook culvert replacement. They seem to have misplaced the order of conditions, so we need to reissue them. Meredith,
Yeah, they want to do the project, so they're looking for the order to record. So I just need a motion to reissue the order and the extension. Which we issued an extension and this year sometime for the original order.
okay, so we have a motion to reissue the order and extension.
so moved.
Have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Tom,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes,
Jim,
Yep.
Cliff,
Yes,
Robert. He's unmuted. Okay. All right, I'll
making
vote yes.
progress.
Okay, thank you. All right, item B, 116 Fairfield Avenue, request for certificate of compliance. Do we have a motion to issue the certificate?
Help me remember this one. Is Fairfield Avenue the one off Western Avenue?
No, it's off of Route 20,
Yeah, it's off of Route 20.
just below.
Oh, it's the one where the culvert was put in too high or too,
Yes,
Huh.
yes, it was. Yep.
but Meredith, you got over there and looked at it and everything looks good?
Yeah, and they had got the culvert right before I was involved. And
Yeah.
then luckily, and then, yeah, I got some pictures. Everything, I looked at it back in May and it wasn't stable. It wasn't revegetated. Well, the side slopes weren't, but now they are completely revegetated and we have 5 years of monitoring, I guess they've done. We've gotten a report the past 2 years since I've been here, from Levesque because they had to do a wetland replication area.
Yes,
And so we do have reports stating that the replication area is actually a wetland. It has hydric soil and hydrology and wetland vegetation.
okay. All right, we have a motion to issue the certificate of compliance.
Yes,
So
I'll
moved.
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
I'll second it.
All right. Any further discussion?
Is there monies to be returned, Colleen? Do you know?
I think so. There's probably.
There is a bond, yes.
Okay, thank you.
So all in favor? Tom,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes,
Jim,
Yeah.
Cliff,
yes,
Robert? Okay, I'll vote yes. Okay, thank you. All right, other items. Need a motion to approve the minutes of October 26, 2021.
so moved.
You have a second?
I'll second.
Any additions or corrections?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Seeing none, all in favor? Tom,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes,
Jim,
Yep.
Cliff,
yes.
Robert? You need to unmute, Robert. I can see you.
Oh, yeah, there he is.
Okay. All right, well, the motion passes anyway. Okay. All right, now 9, commission discussion. Wetlands ordinance update. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I met with Shanna a couple times. She did recommend to take the tree replacement policy out of the ordinance because other towns seem to just have it as a policy, not in their actual ordinance. And I figure, I don't know. I never got an
Probably
answer
gives us
why.
gives us more flexibility, I bet.
I think so too. And maybe it will go through faster if we just have that as a policy. And, you know, it's been a policy up until now. So, and that's been working for us, and it does give us flexibility. So anyways, I took that out, and then law also suggested we take out the language about having a public hearing to approve the ordinance in the ordinance. She was saying we can just, you know, communicate with law and make sure that any updates to the ordinance are, you know, reviewed and approved by law internally. And then obviously we need to discuss at one of our meetings, and that is posted on our agenda 48 hours in advance of the meeting. So that's all that, we don't need to put an ad in the paper
Okay.
saying we're updating the ordinance. So she had me take that out. And those were the 2 major changes, and I reworked it. I sent it out, I don't know, maybe it was the end of last meeting. I think it came out really good. I think I reorganized it a little bit so the definitions are more clear and all in one section. If anyone wants to review it again and let me know, but I
Well,
think
thank
you
you.
get it.
You did a great job, and I really did read the whole thing.
you did. Oh, good. I think we're ready to send
readable.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very readable.
Yeah, we need
So
to
we
send it
need-
on.
Yeah, we need just a vote tonight saying you want it to go to council or the mayor.
So entertain a motion to approve the ordinance as rewritten, and then have it sent off to the mayor and then city council for approval.
I'll make that motion.
Have a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, other than to thank Meredith for all the work she did on this.
Oh,
Yeah,
you guys
amen.
helped too. I was happy to do it.
All right, all in favor, Tom,
Yes.
Jim,
Yep.
Carl,
Yes,
Cliff.
Yes.
Okay, Robert, he's gone again. I'll vote yes as well. Thank you.
I'll be sending it tomorrow.
Oh, thanks.
cool.
Item C, we've got 12 bat boxes available for donations. So,
Yeah, I just wanted to make this announcement that I have these bat boxes sitting, and actually Robert Naterio was going to take one and I never dropped it off. So somehow I have to get one to him. You know, the state has good recommendations on where to put these things, and they do recommend putting them on your house if it wouldn't be a problem, but I just wanted to put that out there to you guys and the public. We got 12 that are Eagle Scout made, and they're sitting in our storage closet. So contact me or Colleen if you guys want one, if anyone wants one.
you want to post that on our webpage too?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Colleen, I'm sorry, Meredith, I do have an interest in one.
Okay.
I'll talk to you separate on the placement and a couple of trees I'm thinking about. But I also know that, or I believe that they would be great down on the bike trail where it's near 100-year road. That's a great area down there. As biking through, I've seen a lot of bats, you know, at that twilight hour when they're grabbing bugs. So it might be a good area.
Down by 100 acres, Jim?
Yeah, as it crosses Little River, you know,
Yep.
around that area. There, you
Yep,
know,
that's
the
great.
restored bridge on the bike trail. Yeah,
And that's city property, right? Or is that
Yes.
DC? Yeah.
city property.
Yeah.
Okay. So we could put some up there.
Yeah,
That would be great. I'll send out the website that kind of explains where they
okay, good, thank you.
recommend them
All right, thank you.
putting them up.
We should nail one on Cliff's house too. Cliff, you got a place where we could,
I
Cliff
have plenty
wants
of
one.
places, wherever you
Cliff
want one.
wants one.
I thought you were going to say we're going to nail one to Cliff.
That too.
Just a little worried.
That works too.
We could put one up at City Hall, but it's
Yeah.
brick, so I don't know if that would work.
Yeah.
All right, item D. It's time to reconsider going back into, in-person meetings. City council does it now, the planning commission does, the school committee does. And people have asked me why we're not. So that's why I'm putting this out. Yes, Peter. They are. Really? Any particular reasons, or is it just the general? Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Really? Okay. Mhm. Okay. All right, thank you. All right.
David, it's definitely, it's the chair's call. That's very clear for
Not,
per
well, not
policy,
really. I mean, it's, this is a commission, it's not just mine. I mean, I'm just passing on comments
my
that people
quiet-
said to me.
I would suggest we take it up again in January. Get through the holidays and consider public meetings, maybe sometime in the first of the new year, after the first of the new year.
Okay. I mean, how's that sound to the rest of the commission?
I'm okay with that, Mr. Chairman. I am okay coming back to the meeting, but to a public meeting, but I'm curious to know if there's any shields, or is it just an open table, or is there any protection at all, or is it just a big open room? Okay.
Okay.
Peter,
so we'll just-
I think you told me that we couldn't Zoom our meetings and do them in person also. Is that true? Right. Oh, yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's an interesting comment about people saying that they could see the plans better this way. But, at some point, we're going to have to go back to the city hall. I mean, all right, so it seems like the consensus is to stay this way until after the holidays.
Yes.
That works for me too. Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
okay with that, but if all goes well, I'd like to go back in January.
Right, okay,
Whatever the board wants to do.
all right. Okay, let's do that then. So our next meeting is the 23rd, again, the week of Thanksgiving. And that'll be Meredith's last meeting, correct?
We start to cry now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aw.
Okay. Okay, item E, meeting on the December 28th. Typically, we don't meet that week. We haven't in the past. what's your, inclination for this year?
My inclination is that we not meet.
Okay. People, may be out of town. It may be difficult to get a quorum.
That
Yeah,
seems kind of reasonable.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right. All right. I got the idea. Okay. So we won't meet on the 28th of December
So your last meeting will be on the 14th.
of this year. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And our last with you as our administrator would be the 23rd. Right?
Yeah,
Unless,
unless
Oh,
I,
Meredith,
unless she changes her
Meredith.
mind. Yeah.
Ugh,
Okay.
no, I am having, this is definitely not an easy
Yeah.
choice.
Okay. All right. Item F, the coordinator position. We sent out a description, the latest description of the position. I've contacted personnel. I haven't heard back yet from the director. But, we need to get this thing rolling along. Are any concerns on the actual description? And the personnel director may want to do some changes. I'm not sure, because it's not the same person we dealt with when Meredith was hired.
I didn't really particularly see any issues, but I'd like to get Meredith's feedback. She was in the position.
Yeah.
And see, did her daily activities and her normal activities match with that description? And what I think we really need to get some feedback from you, Meredith.
Okay, yeah, I didn't,
After she's had a chance to look at it, I can meet with her and go over those things.
Sure.
David, do you remember Karen updating? It probably never got out of draft because we didn't do anything with it, but first off, it's embarrassing that we have a job description that goes back to 2008. This was back, I think, 2018. Karen took a stab at redlining it. Colleen, do you remember that? Would you be able to find that in the computer? It was something she emailed. So
I'll look for it. I do have a lot of her files on our hard drive, so I'll give it a go tomorrow and see if I can find it.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
I
I think
remember
I
when she
pulled it
did
up.
that. Yeah, I do remember when she did that.
yeah, because I was gonna, I found something now, I can't remember what the date was. And I was gonna update it and send it around, but I can't remember if it was this one that David sent out or the one Karen had
Yeah, the one I
revised.
sent out came to me from the personnel office, so
Oh,
that's the
okay,
latest one they have. Yeah.
okay, yeah. So, yeah, you should probably update it. I didn't get a chance to review that today, but I will go over it. And David and I can talk, and it should
So
be
David,
updated, yeah.
Have we begun thinking about advertising for this position, or what is human resources doing
Nothing right now.
aside from sending us a 15-year-old job description?
And I haven't heard back from them yet, so,
Can you
You
give them a
you probably have to-
complimentary heckle tomorrow?
okay, I will.
Thank you.
Yes.
And a harangue and a
Are we ready?
harassment.
Are we ready to send an ad? Are we ready to post it? I mean, have we? I don't know. I don't remember working much with HR on this
Mhm.
In the past. I guess they were helpful, were they?
Well, he organized the advertisement, sending it out. He organized the first reading of the resumes. And then he organized the interviews as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Who was this? Who are you talking about?
I forgot his name, the
It was
previous.
the personnel director at the time that
Yeah.
did all the administrative
Right.
back office work, so that when we did get to City Hall and have the interviews, they all flowed pretty well.
But Mr.
And
Bishop
he
is
also
new to the
provided-
job, so.
Yeah, he provided the evaluation sheets that we use for scoring.
Yeah, that's right.
Background checks and so on, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I believe
You know,
we
with-
had a subcommittee for that. I think we
Yes.
Yeah, we did select the subcommittee, and then the full commission did a yes or a no to our recommendation.
Right.
Well, we've got to find someone or Colleen's going to be really busy. Hi, Colleen.
Well, with the holiday season coming up, it may take a while. So,
Mhm.
and as we noted, there's 38 conservation coordinator positions open in the state. Again, many of them are part-time, but hopefully, being a full-time one, it will attract some applicants. So,
Life
right, so
would
we'll
be
keep
so
you
much
up-
easier if you changed your mind, Meredith.
No.
If you vacillated on this one.
I've been trying, so, okay.
Good,
right.
David. Keep working on her. Keep working on her.
I am
Can you
easily
be-
persuaded.
Can you be motivated by elimination of your own guilt?
Possible. It's so definitely possible.
Okay, so we'll keep you apprised of how that's going along. Okay. All right, item 10, motion to adjourn.
It seems like there are, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
There are, well, Robert has a comment and Mr. Willett, who was wanting to talk at the beginning, I don't know if would the commission entertain hearing public comments now?
I guess we can take,
And he's hung in there all this time.
Yeah,
We haven't gotten rid of him yet.
Robert and Mr. Willett here seem
right,
to
well-
want to make a comment.
I wanted to speak about the Service Star Data Center. I have a presentation I put together that I showed to the Planning Commission. So I'll bring that up.
well, if you have a presentation, I'd rather you do it during public participation at the beginning of the next meeting. I mean, that's where it normally should be. If you just have a couple comments, then we can take those now.
Well, I can at some point share my presentation with people through email. I want to encourage you folks to do anything that you can to stop the development of the data center, because it's going to destroy the entire ecosystem in the area. Living things can't grow where there are buildings and asphalt. It's going to bring workers to the area who may settle in the area, and then there will be more businesses that will crop up to cater to those employees. I have a lot of photographs of wildlife just in the area. I live on 31 Meadowbrook Lane, which is just across Arm Brook from the area. And I wanted to show you folks all the life that's over there and what needs to be protected.
All right, well, I think if you want to do a presentation, you need to do it at the appropriate time during the meeting, during the public participation to the next meeting. I know.
Okay, I did try and join at the beginning. I was having.
I saw that. It was a little too late.
Meredith was the person I spoke to beforehand. Could I email that to you, and or could I get anybody else's email who's interested in seeing it?
Well, send it to her and she can send it to us.
Okay, yeah, it's a Google Drive.
And, we could look at it ahead of time so that, we don't spend a lot of time with it during the meeting itself.
Okay, let me just grab a pen. What date is that meeting going to be?
I can email you all the information, Josh.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's November 2 weeks from tonight, November 23rd, same time.
Yep.
And if you send me the presentation, I'll send it to the commission. And you're welcome to go over it. Also, you can adjust them again during public participation. I can put it on the agenda if you want.
the 22nd, you said at 6.
Sorry,
23rd.
23rd at 6:30.
Okay,
All right.
so I'll shoot that over to you, and thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Okay.
We appreciate it.
Robert, you had something else?
Yes, Mr. Chair, just a quick comment.
Yes.
on the staffing for the Conservation Commission, just as a public member of the public here and resident in Westfield, I think at the very least, the mayor should consider the staffing for Conservation Commission as minimal required. I think the staffing is undersized for a city of Westfield with this amount of activity going on and this amount of land mass space. I think anyone in that position is just overwhelmed by the amount of activity going on. I think that any type of budgetary constraints could be answered by having some liaisons especially in the planning department, DPW, engineering, to work hand in hand with the Conservation Commission and their staff to make sure that all these different activities going on out there, including work by DPW, the dozens and dozens of backhoes that are owned out there. It's just impossible for one person to keep on top of all these activities and, be prepared for meetings and be prepared to handle all of emails and voicemails and telephone calls. It's just overwhelming. So I think a liaison in several different departments, as many other cities and towns in the Commonwealth do, especially the size of Westfield. Westfield just hasn't had that strong support system for the conservation agents. And it's a shame because there's so many activities out there. You always have full agendas. There's always violations. And I'll tell you right now, if there was those things going on and the agent could go out and about and look for all these different things, guess what? They'd probably find even more things that have to be addressed. So it really is the minimal requirements to have, a part-time person and an agent. Thanks for listening, and I'll stop there.
Well, thank you for your input. Appreciate it. All right, thank you. Anything else from the commission? All right, seeing
Motion
none.
to adjourn.
Okay, do you have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor? Tom,
I'll vote yes.
Carl,
Yes.
Jim,
Yep.
Cliff,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. Thank you, everyone. And
Thank you all.